Welcome to Joan of Art, the weekly podcast where we investigate and celebrate people who make art.
Dear madam, dear sir, dear madam, dear sir, dear madam, dear sir, dear madam, dear sir, dear madam, dear sir.
That intro cracks me up still every time, even on episode 6. Hey, welcome, listeners. My name is Joan Vorderbruggen, and I am your host of the Joan of Art podcast. And for this episode, we have 3 really magnificent artists who are joining us today. I'm so glad, and I feel so privileged that I can call them all good friends, some new, some old. We have Siyama. Siyama, you say your last name, because I know I'm going to butcher it.
My last name is Matuzungidi.
Matuzungidi. Welcome to Joan of Art, Siyama.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and with Siyama is his life partner and his partner in crime and a musical partner, art partner, Dallas Johnson Jr. Dallas, welcome.
Hi, Joan. Thanks.
And we also have Carolina Borja, who is here, who is a new friend of mine, who is a great up-and-coming artist in the Twin Cities area. Carolina, welcome to Joan of Art.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pick on Dallas and Siyama first because a couple of reasons. One, you guys are 2 of my best friends. And I think this conversation is going to be really fun. But 2, because something really incredible just happened to you guys. And Dallas, you're probably going to shed a tear because it is like kind of incredible. So Dallas is an artist and a coordinator and has been very successful in the corporate world as well. You guys are going to freak out when you hear what she did. What did you do?
I taught financial advisors how to use their online technology.
Right. Okay, so a creative person did that.
And I've been there for 20 years in corporate America.
Okay, so you worked for 20 years in corporate America, but you didn't just do that. You're also a very talented musician, singer, and an amazing community organizer. You've been doing the Bridging Festival now, going into its 4th year in the Phillips West neighborhood that takes kids in the neighborhood up on the pedestrian bridge at what's the street?
24th Street. It goes across 35W right near Electric Fetus, but we're on the other side.
Right. So you've been taking kids up there for the past 4 years and more to play, to dance, to have fun, because there isn't a lot of park space where you are, but there's like tons of kids and lots of low-income housing. So anyway, we'll get to that. But you just quit your job, right?
Yes, I did. Today is my first day as a free agent.
You're calling it Freedom Day number 1, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. That took a lot of guts, tons of it. So when did you start to consider leaving that stability and leaving that 9-to-5 that provided you with a great living and made it so that you and Siyama could do a lot of cool stuff together? And I know that you put a lot of your own money into a lot of the projects that you guys have worked on, but so now you're like letting that go and you're kind of free falling because you want to live your art. Am I right?
That's right. I think the point of no return happened in 2011 when the Blue Lady invited me to do the Coney Island Parade in New York City. And I did the blue body paint from head to toe and all this glitter and a big wig, and I'd never done anything like that. I was like a Calvin Klein monochromatic kind of chick. And somebody had asked me, what do you stand to gain if you do it? And what will you miss out on if you don't do it?
Interesting.
So I put it all on, and I went out there and did it, and the paparazzi and the excitement and the just feeling beautiful and radiant and gorgeous and feeling like a different person. And I recognized the thoughts in my head were saying, you're an important person. You have a business meeting in the morning. You have, you're here for business. And then I'd think, how ridiculous is that? Because I've got blue glitter all over me. So that just awakened in me this awareness of who I really am and what I want to do and how much happier I was that day than any other day. So I came back home, and soon after that, the bridging stuff was born, and we do a lot of interactive stuff. So I started writing plays, and instead of singing jazz and being really into being a great musician, instead I wanted to do music that everybody would do together. Or I'd want to help the kids write poems about certain themes or whatever. And it was just all about engagement and fun. And so that led me toward who I was becoming.
The fun movement.
The fun
To be
movement, we call it.
Specific.
I went to a workshop. What she's talking about is I went to a workshop in New York with all these people who work in nonprofits, and they've got really hard jobs. I went as a community arts organizer. And so when I told somebody what I do, it was in such contrast to their intense work. And she said, "Oh, you're in the fun movement. I've heard about that. It's very effective." So that's what it is.
Yeah, there's tons of scientific journals that have been written about the fun movement.
Yes. So I was really proud to have something so important to work on. And, then soon after that, Siama and I have been together for many years, and he had an incredible career, which you'll hear about. But since he moved to the States in the 90s, he really had just been a side guy and hadn't done his own music. And as partners, and here I have this job, and I kept encouraging him to go make money doing music and figure it out, Siama. And, it was always this kind of tension and imbalance. And so I thought last year, what if I put my effort and talent into kind of being on Team Siama instead of trying to force him into this unknown world? And to his credit, it's taken me a year, and I think it'll take a lifetime to figure it out. But I've done a lot of studying, and he invited me to be in his new acoustic group. So I started that in January, and then I've been studying how to make art sustainable, and it's all about engagement. It's all about participatory stuff and interactive stuff. So it's like everything that I love the most is what's going to make this possible. So I took the jump, and that's my story.
Congratulations, and welcome to the fun movement for realsies.
Yes, professional.
Right. You're the president. That's great. But Siama, you won a McKnight, right? You won a fellowship, and I'm sure Dallas helped you out with that. But when did that happen?
Yeah, I did actually last year, but it was for this year.
Yeah.
So,
And it was for music.
Yes.
So you are from Congo.
Yes, I'm from Republic Democratic of Congo, which is Central Africa.
Yeah. And you were a musician there
Yes,
for your whole life.
for my whole life.
Yeah.
I left when I was 18, 19 to go try my life by myself and friends.
Wow. In France? That's where you went?
No, with friends.
With friends. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
You do. But Siama, you did travel the world
Yes.
pretty extensively with your music, right?
Yes.
And what
Yes,
was your
I
group
did.
that toured?
Okay, my first group I toured with was Kavasha. That was in the Congo. We had a very strong, powerful young people group, and then we got contract to go to East Africa.
Wow.
That's why I left the Congo and went to Uganda to just perform in the club for a year, and then we'll be back in the Congo, but then we never did.
So you achieved some fame, like in a
Yes.
totally new place.
Yes. And then from Uganda, we just moved to Kenya. And from Kenya, we made it like our best place. Go to Japan, come back. Kenya again, go to Dubai, come back. So Kenya was like a home there.
Wow. So you were a rock star.
Yeah, kind of.
That's awesome.
kind of.
Well, you are here too. And so congratulations on that McKnight Award. I bet that was pretty affirming.
I know, thank you, because I didn't even believe myself. I did take 4 hours maybe to just believe that phone call was right.
No
I was
way.
like, no,
He
I
said,
don't.
maybe I listened, maybe I heard wrong. I won't believe it until
Oh.
she writes it in an email.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
Yeah.
Because why?
Because it was just too hard from how many people? Maybe 80 or 90, more than 90 people. And they come down up to, I'm one of those chosen. I'm like, really? And the plus, I didn't believe it. I can be one winning person in my life. I just thought how my life is done.
Wow. Well, you won that award because you are extremely talented. And I know that
Yeah.
we talk about this a lot on this show, actually, about like kind of the grant ecosystem that exists here and how challenging it can be. And, in many ways, it kind of sucks that, winning those types of things is what affirms that you're on the right path or that you're doing the right thing. But this has been your whole life. So, as much as I would never diss McKnight, I love them. They help support the work that I do. And I think it's like the gold standard of arts foundations here in the Midwest. But, it's just interesting to me to think that, how could an award like that be the thing that, makes you feel like, oh, this is good, because you've known that you're good, right?
Yes, I've known I'm good, but then that boosted.
Yeah.
Winning that, like, oh.
Like maybe not just you thinks that it's amazing. And Dallas and all of the people who go to all of your shows that you play all over the dang place constantly, right?
Yeah, actually, people will think that's amazing, but for me, I'm like, oh, really? Oh.
Well, I think that you knew that you're very talented,
Yes.
but you didn't realize that it mattered in the world. You thought that what you had to give didn't have a place in the world, because the way he
Anymore.
said it is, when he won it, it made him realize he has a place in society, and that makes me cry whenever I think that he thought that he didn't have.
Right.
And at the award ceremony, the former president of the U of M was speaking, and Siama the entire time just kept saying, "Wow, wow, wow."
Yeah, because he had good things to say about artists.
He was saying like artists have the qualities that we need as a culture to move forward, and that that artists are creative, perseverant, dedicated, inspired. All these qualities that we all need to be better in our society. So
Yeah, we're really lucky that a lot of decision makers are really getting behind that.
yes.
But obviously, I think you guys know me well enough to know that it's my, utmost passion to support artists and to get artists in front of the community and get them out of, just these inclusive areas. If it's possible, I don't even know. But, it's like I just try and try and try. That I think that art belongs to everybody. It's a language that we all speak. And artists really see the world in a different way. One of the ways that I kind of like to describe to people about kind of the way my eyes work is that you might look at like a blank brick wall and see a blank brick wall, but I don't see a blank brick wall. I see 1,000 different beautiful things. You know what I mean? So when you have that, and it's almost like a plague, like you can't unshake it. It's there, and it's the way that you see. Or just like Siama, you are a beautiful musician. You hear things differently, right? Like you might hear the trickle of a water faucet, and like you can start to put a rhythm and a melody to it.
Yep.
Not everyone can do that, Not everybody. It doesn't come naturally to people. So it's a beautiful gift, and I'm really glad that you've been celebrated recently. And you guys play out a lot. So not only now Dallas is like president of the fun movement. Siama won the McKnight. He's living that dream. What the heck is next for you guys, or is it just kind of like you don't know? You're gonna see.
Pretty much, we're gonna see what can to bring.
Well, Siama, why don't you tell them about your new CD project?
Oh, I'm working on a collaboration CD project. Who I will invite more people who live around in Minnesota. Actually, they can come and transform what I had created, what music from the Congo, to mix with anything is out there. Makes music in Minnesota.
Whoa, okay, yeah. Dallas, tell us more. That sounds amazing.
Yes, it's a really cool concept. The idea was when I heard about Siama's story, which, by the way, after knowing him for like 19 years and being with him for around 9, I just found out about his life and career by studying last year online when I was applying for the fellowship.
That's when you got all the stories.
I'm
like, what?
You're a rock star.
I know.
So what I learned about him was, he came to America and didn't have anybody to play his style with. So instead of having these, really super proficient soukous musicians, he would play with, a calypso band and a soca artist and a reggae band or whatever just to keep going. But by doing that, he started developing a lot of different styles or like a lot of, dipping his toe into different things and meeting lots of people. And then he started getting invited to doing collaborative performances. And so he really has built an incredibly rich, diverse bunch of friends and performers in his life. And it dawned on me that all of them have the same experience when they come to America, like a classical Veena player from India, Nirmala, and our friend Tenzin from Tibet. They come here. There's not like a big, huge community of people to play Tibetan flute with. So whenever you come, you have to kind of collaborate if you're in Minnesota from elsewhere. And so we just decided that would be a cool project. So it's going to be 10 of Siama's songs featuring musicians from many different genres who are based here in Minnesota. And we're really, really excited about it because we can kind of cross-pollinate audiences and I think pique a lot of ears to people that maybe wouldn't have heard anything like it.
That sounds amazing. That's so exciting. And it's really interesting because I have never pondered that fact that as you come here, you're a soca musician? Can you describe Congolese guitarist? I mean, I need to get it right.
Yes.
Soukous.
Soukous. Okay.
Yes.
The Sound of Happiness is its pet name.
Oh, wow. So you come here and you want to play live because you've got it in you. You've got this masterful guitar gift to play. And you have to just like play with a jazz group. So suddenly you're trying to kind of adapt.
Yes.
And so, but you still are bringing what you know
Yes.
and the music that you're best at.
Yes.
So that is so fascinating to now, not only, you came from this place where you sort of had to do that, where now you're at this place where you're going to celebrate the fact that you can do that.
That's the way to put it. Really. Thanks.
That'll be exciting. So where are you at in the process of creating this work?
On the process, I'm still at the pre-production right now.
Okay.
So I keep making these songs and imagine people who will join them, to join us to do that. Where will they fit? This person will fit in this song? No, maybe in that other one. So that's the place I am.
So he's
right
recording
now.
the tracks at home in his home studio. And then we're mapping out which songs would fit which genres of musicians. And then we can kind of map out the schedule and...
That's going to be so exciting. I can't wait for the CD, but I also cannot wait for the live shows.
I know.
Do you plan on performing with
Yes,
these people?
Yes.
What we really want, and I'll just put it out in the real world here through the podcast and put it in your brain, dear.
Retro. Do it.
We want sponsorship, and we want to align with musical nonprofit or profits that, nonprofits that benefit young people with music. And one of them that I'm thinking of is one that collects instruments for young people so that everybody can be in band and learn music. And so we want sponsorship to pay all of the artists so that we can have it in a really good venue and then do it as a fundraiser so people can bring instruments to the show and pay to get in. And then
be a part of it.
That's what we are imagining. And we're imagining applying for a touring grant next year because we hope to bring some of those artists throughout Minnesota to the theaters all over the place.
I have total confidence that this is going to be a great success, especially with Fun Movement President on board. You guys are a really amazing team. It's really exciting. Well, I think if you guys don't mind, I think now might be a really cool time for you to play us something.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So what do you want?
What's it going to be, Maestro? He always surprises me. The other night we were at Hell's Kitchen, and he started playing something unfamiliar, and then he turned to me and said, "We're composing. Sing." And
Really?
Yeah, and then he goes, "In English."
Oh my goodness. So, okay, I was there. I never would have known that. So cool.
And one of the coolest things about one of the reasons I quit my job is for moments like that. because when I'm uptight and constricted by work thoughts and work schedules and ritual, I'm not free enough to be at his level of creativity. So when he said that, that to me was confirmation. Okay, I'm doing the right thing, because I want to be able to be writing just like him in the moment.
Capture that joy, right? That's beautiful. All right. Dallas and Siama, what is the name of your acoustic group that you guys perform with?
Right now we are calling Afrobilly.
Afrobilly. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, there's two of us, plus Mikkel Beckman plays washboard and American traditional stuff that people say sounds kind of hillbilly, so we call it Afrobilly.
Nice. It's great.
Okay, here you go, Maisha.
As you begin, I'll say what it's about.
Okay.
Siama wrote this song as a reminder to us. It's called Maisha Mazuri, and in Swahili that means this beautiful life. And the lyrics are pretty simple. There's just a few lines, and essentially it says, this beautiful life, savor it, enjoy it. No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but today is for us to live.
Maisha mazuri tudifurahishe, tudifurahishe. Ya leo ni ya leo, kesho ni mengine mama. Mama yo yo yeah yeah. Mwana zata yeah 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 yeah. Maisha mazuri tudifurahishe, tulipendane mama. Ya kesho ni mengine mama.
Thank you guys so much. Dallas and Siama, I want you to stick around. We have Carolina Borja up next to talk about the work that she's doing. We're going to take a little break, and we'll see you back here in a minute for episode 6 of Joan of Art.
Foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back online, along comes this hit show.
Do you want to do this? I will do this.
Gaby, let's not battle our guests.
Bill, you're being nice.
Yeah.
In a world full of hit shows, this one's the real deal.
I'm refusing to
I hear
engage
you.
in an argument that
I'm
doesn't
not arguing.
exist.
I'm not arguing.
Twin Cities Hit Show.
Oh my god!
Oh my God! Hey,
See, this is how fights start on pedal pubs. This is exactly.
Throw whatever.
He's just all that
out.
redheaded
Talk it
anger
out.
just came up. It's all in his chest right now.
The Twin Cities Hit Show airs live daily, 9:30 to 10:30 on the Alive and Social Network.
Oh, Shannon, welcome to my world.
And we're back. Hey, hey, hey. This is the Joan of Art podcast. This is episode 6. We're here with Siama and Dallas, who just gave us a wonderful performance of one of Siama's originals. And we're going to move on to Carolina Borja. However, we are not finished with you guys yet. So, okay, come on. Hey, hey, hey. What's Fun President doing?
All right. Actually, it's Fun Ambassador.
Okay, yep.
And so since it's my first day outside of my corporate job, I thought I should do myself the, justice of saying what I am going to do next. I'm working on this really cool project with Ebenezer, which is a care center for people who are older. And they have a really cool lifelong learner program where they have like watercolor lessons, photography, poetry, all kinds of different things. And Siama's going to be doing a musical program with them. So they asked me to shepherd a brand new project, which they're calling the Ebenezer Festival of the Arts. And it's going to be an event in November that's off-site for the first time. And it's going to be a red carpet event with the artists from Ebenezer there. There's even going to be the debut of a new documentary that's being filmed at Ebenezer. And it's going to be this multi-genre, multi-floor event at St. Mary's University, date TBD, but it's very, very exciting. And they gave me the title of Godmother of the event, which is really
So
cool.
who is the genius that captured you at the exact right moment? I want to know about this person.
Do you know how it happened is... when I started singing with Siama in January, I was like, okay, I got to do this all the time, and I need to figure it out quick. And so what I started doing was I had just this year so far, there's been over 38 meetings. One of them was with you over lunch downtown. But I've had 38 meetings just this year with professionals in the nonprofit sector, in the arts and in, social services and social media people and website developers and just everything I can think of to be like, where is the sustainability in the arts and how can we tap into that? And the cool thing is I'm discovering it's just where I want to be. So one of the peoples that in Minneapolis who's known as the expert in arts and aging is someone that I just set up an informational interview with, and I went to meet with her to learn about that sector and find out how I can study and whatever. And then she ended up bringing this to the table as an option for me that I hadn't even imagined that this could ever happen.
Say her name, say her name.
Her name is Pat Samples.
Pat Samples, that's awesome. Well, hey, if you're out there, Pat Samples, you sure grabbed a great shooting rocket to the sky. And I love, and so is Ebenezer in your neighborhood too?
Yes, it's a block and a half
Of course.
away. And part of what they want to do is, the purpose behind the event is to get the people not only expression in the community, but also to let the community know that they exist and to really interact with creative people and opportunities that are right in my neighborhood. And because of doing bridging stuff with the kids, I know a lot of those organizations and I know the people and how to get them to come to things, and I just a perfect evolution. And it fits into my game plan because just as Siama's releasing his CD, I'm releasing my third CD. I've been on a musical hiatus for 9 years. And I have 2 CDs on like iTunes and Amazon and all that, but I put this third one aside. So I want to finish it soon. Oh, Siama just went, and I want to finish it soon and then, get my own thing back. And then I also would love to take what he and I do to sunny spots over the winters and do the interactive stuff with elder people and also
Oh, I can see
kids.
this dream coming alive. So what you're doing right now, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you're piloting something that could give you legs.
Yes, give us sunny legs, tan legs.
Tan legs.
project has freckled legs.
Yeah, that's great, though. I mean, I was thinking that all along as you've been talking about this, that this is really, it's just kind of an obvious evolution of the way that, we don't really embrace our aging community. And there is such a wealth of talent, and there is so much to be had there. I mean, these are people who have, who are in a place where they maybe don't get the stimulation that they deserve, and that there's probably tons of creativity that's just really untapped.
Right.
So to get into that demographic and to inspire and see what's there, I mean, I think you're going to have nothing but really great stories to share.
I'm really, really excited about it.
I'm really, really jealous. I think that's going to be super fun. And I would love to guest star in some role if you can ever see. Right? Yeah, come on. Get me with those
I have
people.
several ideas for you.
Not even just one. All right. I'm pleased. Well, thanks again, Dallas and Siama, for being on the podcast. I want you to stick around, though, because why not? And I think if you're willing, maybe we'll even wrap the show up with one more musical number. Is that cool?
Yeah,
Sure.
All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm turning my gaze to you, Carolina Borja. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you.
So I just recently got to know you because you applied for the Made Here project. And I have to say, and not only did you apply, but the panel loved your proposal, and you actually have work up in Mayo Clinic Square right now. Mm-hmm. But one of the things about you that I thought was so incredible and really stuck out for me is that you made time to come and see me and talk to me and tell me about what you thought and ask me questions. And you've continually kind of operated that way, and I think it's really intelligent and insightful too, and kind of intuitive even, to say, like, here's what I think, what do you think, to people who are managing these projects. But so you were accepted to Made Here, and you have some work up there. Can you just quickly tell us what's in Mayo Clinic Square right now?
Sure. Well, first of all, I appreciate you opening the doors too. So the reason I approached you was because I really like the idea of connecting with the artist, not only through the application process, but even before, and you were very, present and inviting. So that was very fun. Well, right now in the Mayo Clinic, it's a work that's called Aunque la mona se vista de seda, mona se queda. And it was my proposal for the Intersections series. And yeah.
So it's really a cool work, and it involves very many self-portraits that have been altered and painted on, and then also you utilize some Mexican craft.
Yeah. So I've been working inspired on Mexican crafts, and bringing them more to like a sculptural or visual art aesthetic. And in that piece, there are 18 self-portraits that talk and speak about the idea of how Mexican would be represented. So I guess it could also relate to any citizenship, and how like the visual impacts the real cultural heritage and like what it is. And it's kind of like an exercise on, well, if you eliminate this, are you still Mexican? If you add this, are you still Mexican? And I think it's a concern that's present in me, but I can feel it all around.
Mm-hmm. And so, of course, you're expressing it in this very creative, wonderful way. But let's back up. I feel like we're moving too fast.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Mexico City.
Okay. And so how long have you lived here?
I've lived here, well, I was born in San Diego, and then I lived in Tijuana, and then I lived in Mexico City, and then I'm here in Minneapolis, and I've been living here for 2 years.
Okay. And so feeling a little bit of this conflict between your heritage, your ethnicity, where you've been, where you've lived, where you are now, some tension there exists?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think coming here obviously gives it a different perspective, and but there are ideas that I've been thinking about even living in Mexico. I feel the question of who we are is always relevant and present in all of us, but the place where we live actually feeds that a lot. And Mexico is multicultural in that sense because we were conquered by the Spanish, but then like time, and there's been a lot of mixing, I guess that would be the word. And it's easy to fall across those kind of questions. What is my place in all this mixing, and how can I relate to it, and what should I do with it? So being here in Minneapolis also made me realize that it was not only typical of Mexico, but it happens anywhere in the world, and also finding other populations here that are present and are not just U.S. citizens also enriches that idea.
Yeah. Wow. So I also want to talk about a recent award that you won. I know there's probably a lot of other things going on, but these are the things I know about. So I just want to, I'm curious. Okay, so you applied to the Art Prize Pitch Night, and for you listeners who don't know what that is, Art Prize is like one of the biggest kind of public art exhibitions in the United States. It happens in Grand Rapids, Michigan every year. It's this annual festival with 1 million different artists creating work for the public. And they partnered with the Walker to provide a $5,000 prize to a Minnesota-based artist to create something in this 9,000 square foot office building, like on the second floor. And it's funny because I was really happy to be a panelist for that particular award, which was great. But also, I mean, I love to activate vacant spaces. So like it's something I obsess over. And even I was like, what the heck would I do in this space? So tell us what your proposal was.
Well, it's a project I'm doing in collaboration with another artist, and her name's Amy Toscani, and what we're creating is this piñata installation that hangs from the ceiling of this 9,000 square feet space. And then people, because it's a 19-day event, over 400,000 visitors go there and see the art exhibition. So they would come and they can break the piñata during this 19 days. And out of that installation falls a second installation. And obviously the fact that there could be recordings and photographs and there's audio to it, like it all is part of the concept. But yeah, I'm just super excited about it.
So the name of the work is?
Constructing on Deconstructing.
Okay, so what happens is, if you're lucky enough to be a part of the first week of the exhibition, you're going to see these big, beautiful piñatas that you've made by hand. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. And so there will be, I know you're still working out some of the details, but I caught up with you like a week ago, and so I've got a little bit of information, but so far, the way that it's sort of shaking out is that there will be breaking times.
Yeah, absolutely. There are breaking times, and there's going to be 3 time slots where you can go and break the piñata, and so the rest of the time you can see it, which is also really cool. Like I feel it's kind of like a 2-in-1 show.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It's more than 2.
Yeah. You get to smash a piñata.
I know. And I'm actually doing a test tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, breaking one. And
I'm curious to know how you're going to feel about these things that you made by hand all getting totally thrashed.
Well, yeah, at some point I was like, I feel like they're not going to be broken. Like, nobody's going to want to break them. And I was talking with this person, and she was like, well, like, why do you think that? And I'm like, they're so pretty.
Yeah, right, they are. I mean, I've seen some, like, beginning images, and they're really super beautiful.
Well, I feel you really start getting attached to them while you're building them. And obviously, like, you feel like you don't want to break them. But they'll get broken.
I think it would be so interesting to talk to you after some of those breaking times and see how you feel. Like, do you feel like the person who really went for it and completely destroyed a particular one is like sick and crazy?
No, I'm prepared to be the first one breaking them. Just so I know. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is you're putting surprises inside them for the next installation, right?
Yeah.
So then that kind of softens the blow of seeing it destroyed, because then the new thing is born, right?
Sure. Yeah, that has to do, and I feel the title also speaks about that relationship between, destruction and creation, and kind of like rebirth, like because some of the forms have molds inside while you're building them. So a lot of the time, I find myself diving into the forms and reaching out to get the molds out. So it's kind of like a birth thing that, it's constantly present in the creation of the piñatas. Like,
Wow.
yeah, things are coming out even before I'm filling them in.
Wow,
So
cool.
yeah.
I can foresee a studio visit in my future.
Yeah,
I
for
want to come and
sure.
see that. And now, you know what else is that I'm like, oh my God, I think I have to go to Art Prize.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have to go.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Hello.
Yeah,
I'm free.
Oh my God, everyone's hands in the air. Yes.
I've been thinking about the bus thing for a while, and we should definitely do it. Like,
I've got a truck with a hitch.
Yeah, we should do
P.S.
it. And not only for the piñata installation, but like the whole experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be my first time, like as an artist, but
I've
as
never
a
been,
visitor.
but I've always wanted to
spectator.
go.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So let me ask you this. Is Amy coming along too, or is she more mentoring, or how is she fitting in?
Yeah, it's cool because it's my first collaboration, and it just being part of this is giving like depth to how you collaborate, and probably you guys feel the same way. Like it's a team and it's a collaboration, but it's not like a 50-50 kind of thing where we all do exactly the same thing. Kind of like you put on the table your best, and then from then it starts like being a creative process. And even at the beginning of the idea, she would support a lot of the things, and I would feed a lot of the content. So it's interesting how you work individually and how you work in collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I personally think it's awesome. I voted for your proposal. I know. It's like, how could I not? But I was just, not to say that the others weren't really great too. That was I have to say that process was painful. It was really painful because you have like the best of what's been curated and the things that have been selected. And then there's like 5 people who get 5 minutes to try to sell the panel and what they want to do. And, I just am going to say this, $5,000 is not a lot of money. It's just not. And so to have people have to be in front of a whole this whole thing happens in the Walker Theater. So there's an audience of friends and others who are there to see these proposals, and then someone's got to win and 4 people have to lose. Like, it was just too intense. And I know that the model is like kind of like, I don't know, like those reality shows, like, America's Got Talent or something. But it's like with art and with artists, that's like, I don't really, I was really uncomfortable. It really pushed the envelope for me. So I think in that it was a good experience, because like we should do stuff like that. But at the same time, I walked away like feeling a little shook because,
Well, yeah, for sure. What was very exciting was like to see the quality of the others presenting, like, and I was lucky because I was the first one. So I was glad that was like
you got it out of the way. You didn't have to sit and think about
Yeah.
how others are like scoring.
Yeah, because obviously, like when you get attached to them and to their projects too, and like everybody has puts out their best presentation and their best proposal, and some of the participants are actually going to be in Art Prize too.
Right, and that's the cool thing,
yeah.
though, is that I think a lot of the people who developed these proposals found other opportunities, and so that felt really good. But, it's an extra step. It's a little bit more work, perhaps, but
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll be seeing a lot of those proposals at Art Prize. You and I will see them.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay, I'm glad. Yeah.
Anyway, so is there anything else going on? That's an awful lot.
Well, I think I think my mind is really wrapped around that one. It's 5 weeks from now, so yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about another collaboration that's going to happen with Bedlam, and it's through a Forecast Public Art Grant.
Yes! Did you? I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so tell us, what did Forecast do? They did something cool, I know.
Well, they did a workshop series for people who hadn't done public art but were considering and wanted to do their first public art project. And that happened while the workshop was happening. I applied and did the Walker pitch. So it was funny because at the end, I was kind of like making my own project, like because I do consider Art Prize being a public art project.
I do, totally.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's very cool because public art is so wide. And then having that many foot traffic and having them be there and in a different way that they would, like in a museum or a gallery, the interaction is just different. It's very public. It's very, I don't know if the word would be lowbrow.
Accessible, maybe.
Accessible.
I think what I would like say, but Made Here is a public art project also, and so I was going to ask you about this. So I just want to say that the Forecast project that you're talking about was called Make It Public.
Yeah.
And they did this series of workshops with people who want to do public art and they want to get their work into the public realm. And then they gave out a limited number of awards of $1,000 to actually implement projects that you had developed through the workshops. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there were different amounts of money, but yeah, they awarded, I think, a total of 5. Yeah.
And you got one.
And I got one.
You're like, this is like winning year for you.
Well, yeah, it is.
And I hope next year is even winning or more.
Yeah.
How do you like that? I'm really happy for you, Carolina. I really love your work. I love the different ideas and the way that you present things. I think your work is really beautiful and it's thought-provoking. I'm just liking your voice and the way that things are developing for you. And so anyway, I'm really happy that you came on the show today.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that we've had a chance to work together. And I have to say, so I never do this. I never plug anything that I do here. I mean, I try not to. I shouldn't say never. Like, I try not to talk about it. But consider applying for Reflection Made Here, because the open call opened today, and it's $500 to create a window display or something for the interior of a mall that's waiting for lease agreements and things like Mayo Clinic Square, like what you did, but that's made here, mn.org, folks.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Ebenezer about that, and hopefully we can get a window application.
Ooh. And you know what? I also want to talk about something really quickly, too, that a lot of people probably don't know, but I do not curate Made Here. So when you were chosen, then the way that my curating comes is that I take what the panel curates and chooses, and then I find an appropriate space for people to be. And one thing that's interesting is that you were in love with a particular space. Like there was a spot that you really wanted, and it didn't work out. It just there was something else that worked out better there, and Mayo Clinic worked out. So how do you feel in hindsight? Do you still think about that space, or were you happy to be somewhere else, or?
Well, I feel like it's kind of like a twin project now because I have to have the other one too.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
I don't know that other window, and it was slightly different. Also, it was kind of site specific, so that project is still in my mind. Like,
isn't that the way it is though? When something gets stuck in your brains, that's how I know that you have to, like, if you can't stop thinking about a particular project, you have to do it.
Go
so
further.
I want to latch hook portraits of transgender artists. Large scale. And I've been thinking about that for 2 years. However, it will probably take me 10 years to do, but I just put it out.
Yeah, you have to do it now.
So there you go.
Well, that happens with all proposals here, like talking about the McKnight grant, and like once you write the proposal, it automatically becomes a project, and like you win it or don't win it, you have to do it.
So that's what happened with Siama's the CD collaboration. I think a lot of us, when we apply for grants, we feel like we have to make our application so compelling and amazing that how could they turn it down? But then you can really set yourself up for a whole bunch of work.
Because it's like, now you gotta do it. And I think that's one thing that actually is, I think I would love it if people would think about that a little bit more, artists specifically, that when you do make a proposal, sometimes, we try not to write work and create concepts based on funding. Like, nobody wants to do that. But let's face it, sometimes in certain instances, you're like, I know that I need this component, even if it maybe wasn't something that was really true to your initial ideas. So let's say you don't get these opportunities. You have this opportunity to kind of scale back and personalize it a little bit more, and maybe not do the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but maybe do the A through C or whatever. So
and still do it.
And maybe sometimes it's truer, than what you put together for a funder. But something interesting to think about. Well, Carolina Borja, I can't wait to see Art Prize. I can't wait to see that. And I hope to be helpful. And Dallas, I am super excited about this whole new life. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do at Ebenezer and elsewhere. I mean, knowing you, that's just going to be one step.
And thank you for being integral to the whole shebang.
Yeah, it sure is fun. And Siama, this CD project sounds just amazing. So we will all very anxiously wait to hear when we can get our hands on it.
Just send some blessings.
We will send blessings to all three of you. So thank you all for being on the Joan of Art podcast today for episode 6. This was super fun. And I think we're going to go out with one more song, aren't we?
Okay.
Come on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
And thanks for being at the controls, Wyatt.
Thanks, Wyatt.
I want to tell you what this one is about. Siama wrote this song back in Kenya. It's based on kind of a traditional melody. He wrote the melody, but it's like that, from that vibe. And in this song, he's an old man. And he's pretty miserable because he's singing on the chorus, I want to marry a young, beautiful woman, but I have no money, no car, no house, no teeth. And he says, in the first verse, he's saying he used to be so good looking and he had lots of money. So he got married. And then he got an ex-wife and an ex-wife and the next one until he had 12. And everybody was cool. But then he added one more. And everyone got so mad that they beat him up and busted his teeth out and kicked him out of his house. So now he's old and he's looking back at that and just lamenting about how hard life is. And how he has, no chance to get a young lady because he has no teeth.
Here we go.
Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Benza pesa imenina na damu mimi Siama. Nilikuwa tajiri lakini sasa mimi masikini. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Nilioa kitambo nikiwa na miaka kidogo, sababu mimi na wewe zote tuna pesa. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Oh, dunia. Ningependa ndogo ndogo mama, sina nyumba. Ningependa ndogo ndogo mama, sina pesa. Gari. Ningependa ndogo ndogo mama, sina gari. Meno. Ningependa ndogo ndogo mama, sina meno. Ah, mama, dunia ina mambo. Ah, dunia ina shida. Mama, dunia ina mambo. Mama, dunia ina shida. Oh yeah, yeah. Dunia ina mambo, mama yeah. Dunia ina shida, mama yo. Dunia ina mambo, lele. Dunia ina shida.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, that wraps episode 6 of Joan of Art. I want to thank my guests today, Carolina, Dallas, and Siama. Thanks for being here. If you like the podcast, I encourage you to like Joan of Art Podcast on Facebook. Also, thank you to the Live and Social Network. Next week, episode 7, we will have 3 more guests as we investigate and celebrate people who make art.
More people that you know, more people that you know, more people that you know, more people.